Hey there viewers, Eric O here. Welcome back to another repair video. Today we've got a 2005 Chrysler Pacifica. Came in for a muffler job. The lady pulled in dragging the muffler down the road and I went ahead and fixed that up for her, but I noticed the control arm bushing here on the right front lower control arm was, well, just looked bad, so I grabbed a bar and stuck it on it. This thing's got all kinds of play in it, so give her a call. She said she wants it fixed, so I ordered us a new control arm. And we're going to go ahead and I'm going to show you how to change that. Well, before we get started with any job, I like to have a little break and a cup of coffee and some Mrs. Miller's jam. This comes from my friend Steve Robb. He heard of my dilemma with Vanessa's homemade jelly and the lack of sugar, and decided to send me 4 jars of this stuff. And the first ingredient is sugar, so you know it's good. So as soon as I get done eating my peanut butter and jelly on my favorite plate here, we'll get started. The only problem I see with stopping to take a little break and enjoying a little Mrs. Miller's, you get sucked into the YouTube. You're like, well, I'll only be just a minute. Yeah, and then like 3 hours later, you're like, oh crap, I got all this work to do. The internet is dangerous. Okay, now we gotta get serious. So here's the rear bushing on the control arm, the lower control arm, and you can see, you know, there's a ton of play in that, and that, you know, pretty much moves the whole wheel. So anytime they were, you know, hitting the brakes or anything, I mean, this thing's all over the place. But, you know, it doesn't take much to wiggle these around. It's a really, really common problem on these. So, like I said, I just seen that. Check the other side just kind of as a courtesy, and didn't see any problems over there, but this one is definitely bad and needs attention. I don't know if you can see it, maybe see how it moves the whole wheel. So, you know, it just moves this whole wheel assembly. I mean, moving it just a smidge back here. And I'm not putting much pressure on this, you know, I'm not, you know, really reefing on this to make it look bad. It indeed is bad. And you can see how it moves that whole wheel. You'll see when we put the new one in, they're good and tight, hopefully. Job ain't even starting out good. There we go. Yeah, first thing first, I'm gonna get a little homebrew. Spray up on the ball joint and hit these other 2 bolts that go through the control arms here. Hopefully none of them are seized. Be able to come out. So it's the trainee fluid acetone mix. Been giving it a try, but like I said before, I'm pretty impatient. We spray it on. We're gonna try to take it out about a minute later. Yeah, I see this is a lock nut, so this will probably turn off hard all the way to the end, but we're kind of getting this off. We'll get this ball joint separated, and then take those other 2 bolts out, like I say, assuming they're not seized up. Wow, I've got like this cool glow from the light. So I don't know about the whole 1080 thing. I screwed around with it. Quite a few people commented. It's kind of a 50-50. I think I'm going to kick it back a peg or 2 and get some 720 action. I don't know. It takes so long to upload is the problem. I need to grab a ratchet wrench. What am I doing? What am I doing? It just takes forever. Our internet here is crazy slow. So I'm gonna downgrade the quality a little bit to help upload. Like the one video I did for the Taurus rear struts to upload, 2 days. Yep, 48 hours. Lovely, huh? I love the video where you gotta watch the guy wrench the bolt all the way. And I got no fast motion editing thing on my camera, so, or on my editing software. I can put it in slow motion, so it's not fast. Alright. It's and being that this one is junk, we're gonna get out the good old-fashioned pickle fork. Do a little smashing. Got my little friend and my pickle fork. Look at that, didn't even rip the boot. If you were trying to use a pickle fork and not rip the boot, you even get it near it, be like, rip. But in this case, it didn't even rip it, so go figure. Gotta take these bolts out now, so I've got a swivel and a 21. Danger, danger. These suckers cut loose at 50,000 RPMs. They get you in the mouth every time. That one came loose. I'm gonna try the center one now and see what happens. Whoa! Let me get an extension. Oh, there we go. Sweet. Kind of hoping the bolts weren't seized up in those bushings, otherwise you got to torch them out. Once you get it out, you can see that that bushing is super loose. You know, probably almost pushed the darn thing out, but yeah, definitely bad. Good find. There's a new one. Can't move that bushing, it's good and tight, so we'll go put this baby on. That almost went a little too easy. Now I'll take there's two different size bolts. There's a long one and a short one, and we'll slobber this thing up good with some Never Seas. Keep it from freezing in that bushing in the future, hopefully, if it ever needs to be changed again. This is just a cheap Taiwan control arm. So, I'm sure it'll probably go bad at some point. Yeah, I'll put the other bolt in first, I guess. We'll slobber that one up too. Get the nuts put on it here. Yeah, they're both started. So that ball joint stud has a nylock nut that came with it. In the center of the stud, they give you a spot where you can theoretically stick an Allen wrench and then turn the nut, but you know, they put the axle shaft in the way. So if you're doing this at home, you can just, you know, if you got it up on jack stands, just take your floor jack, stick your floor jack under your control arm. We're gonna hold some tension up on it into the spindle. Hopefully it'll, you know, provide us with enough friction against the taper on that ball joint to tighten the nut. I'm gonna use my homemade muffler stand. And I've got the big undercar tripods, but I really don't feel like going to get it right now. So I'm just gonna set it down on this little guy, and hopefully that'll give us enough tension to do what we need to do. That should work. see if this works. Of course, they changed the size of it, and the new one's 19. Looks like the stud stain's still. Perfect. Oh, almost got it. Alright viewers, that does it for me. I'm going to wrap this one up. You can see that putting a control arm on a 05 Pacifica is pretty much a walk in the park. A couple bolts, ball joint, 1-2 barbecue, and that baby's out of there. Of course, any job can be made easier having a little bit of Mrs. Miller's homemade jam, and I thank you for that, Steve. You really got me out of a jam, if you know what I mean. So thanks for watching, and give us a thumbs up if you liked the video, and like us on Facebook. We always appreciate that. And just remember, viewers, if I can do it, you can do it. Thanks for watching.